All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with the Vibe versus Sheth. This is going to be a Zerg versus Zerg on Terminus SE. I cannot wait to have this go down. Sheth is actually, well, both of these players. I'm not going to give any bias real quick, but Sheth, he used to be on my team back in the StarCraft Brood War days. It was Team Light.
Wow.
I know. You
man,
remember
I
that?
I forgot about Team Light.
Back in the day, and you know what? He was just as big of a manor bear as he is now.
He is. He's always been a nice guy. He was actually a really good Brood War player that never really went to any lands.
Yeah.
He would never show his face. But that is not the case in StarCraft 2. He's actually been tearing it up recently, winning the U.S. Blizzard Invitational.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you know, Sheth had a lot of different obligations to fulfill, and he wasn't able to really do exactly what he was, he wasn't able to play Brood War as much. Now StarCraft 2, you know, he doesn't have as many obligations he does. I mean, he still does because he's a busy guy, but he gets a lot of time for StarCraft 2, and he is rocking it out, making it look easy.
That's the truth. So right now we have Vibe and Sheth. I know from experience Sheth loves macro style play, but he also is a really good player to adapt. He has no problems doing like throwing a 10 pull out there, even though we see that that's not the case this game. And we do have a 14 gas going down for Vibe, so it does look like he's going for the 14-14, which is the safest build, ZVZ.
The safest build, but it can be abused. Of course, this 15 hatch is going to be the thing that really helps Sheth out. What he's basically going to do is get a lot of creep, get that queen out at the natural, and also just be able to mine as much as possible from this individual expansion. Gives him the little bit of income boost, but there should be a follow-up by Vibe that just, you know, you simply get your speedlings, go ahead and take your expansion, get the early 2 queens, and you will be able to keep up with your opponent. You'll be slightly behind, but not that much.
Right. You know, I don't think it's that big of a deal. A lot of times when you do a 14-14, you're actually able to almost fake out your opponent sometimes. Like sometimes you could make like 4 Zerglings, you have the speed upgrade, and you could put pressure on them to where they don't know what you're doing. They have to over-defend sometimes. To where it's like, oh, well, he might be doing a Baneling, Zergling, or something like that, to where you're actually just pumping out drones, and you do have the queen earlier, so it's about, you know, even, I would say.
Yeah. Basically, what you're saying is you're forcing your opponent to be inefficient, especially in cross positions we can see Vibe and Sheth are in. Sheth isn't going to be able to see, is there an expansion right here? So it basically says, oh, my opponent could be expanding behind this. They could be just going all in with Zergling, Baneling, or Roaches, something like that. We do see Vibe is going up to that hatchery.
Right,
so he's not doing something like Banelings.
And something a lot of good players do is they leave that one drone on that gas, and what that does is that allows them to transition to something else later on. So they can make the Banelings. They can make the
you are
Roach
so
Warren.
intelligent, LZ Gamer. That's why we have you as our Zerg resident. Because there we go, a Baneling nest going down. It does look like, you know, he'll be doing like, it's almost like a fake all-in aggression. It's going to have really fast Banelings, especially relative to his opponent, but it's not going to compromise his economy that much.
That's so true. Do you see that the scouting Zergling did get in there, and he did scout around and see that there was no Baneling nest or Roach Warren at the time, but right after that Zergling died, he did throw down the Roach Warren, but he sees a lot of Zerglings coming his way, so he threw down a Spine Crawler, but it might be too late.
Yeah,
like this Spine Crawler is not going to be here in time.
This has a lot of capacity to do so much damage. There are 2 queens out here. He doesn't want to really engage on this. There are 3 Banelings all the way out here, and is it seen? Yes, Sheth does see what's going on. He's going to scramble to really defend against this. This is a very tense moment for Sheth.
Yeah, it does look like he's using these speedlings, trying to pick off some drones here and there, and he's actually doing a pretty good job with stopping him from mining, but Banelings are coming in, and he's trying to spread his Zerglings out. Sheth is doing a really good job of controlling this.
Yes, he is. We can see the drones are kind of just being pushed out of the way. They're not mining at all. Now finally, oh, a big Baneling hit goes right there, and that's going to kill a lot of larva. Good larva ratio in terms of, you know, cost, you know, his larva to his opponent's larva, and he will be able to force all of this back. It does look like, oh my God, Sheth, you just scared the crap out of me. It looks like this one Baneling is going to just waddle all the way back to the base, and things are just going to settle down for now. We can see that Sheth Does he know? Yes, he does know that there is an expansion out here, so the aggression is going to stop.
Right. And now's when the game's going to kind of settle down. They're going to switch more to a drone, macro-oriented stuff. We do see a little Baneling battle going on here, but nothing too major at the moment.
Yep, of course, and they're just going to fight, I guess, for control of that tower. This Baneling's always going to...
Oh, that was actually
nice.
a good Baneling hit right there.
Yeah.
Took down 4 Zerglings. Very
cost efficient. And, of course, it's minorly cost efficient. It's trading gas for minerals in this early game stage, but also you have to consider the larva that is committed. It's actually half of a larva for a Baneling and 2 larvae for 2 Zerglings, so that just goes inside of, you know, another resource that Zerg has.
Right, that's so true. And, you know, and this is kind of what I was talking about, how the game kind of evens up. If we look at the income tab, they're both around the same.
Yeah, 34 and 33 in favor of Mr. Vibe. And whoa, look at this third base. And I love this decision, although it's going to be scouted out, so I don't love it as much.
Yeah, I mean, it would be way better if he could have killed that Overlord first.
Yeah.
And then took that third, because, like, with your opponent knowing you took a fast third, they know that you're going to have less units, and so a timing attack might be more effective type of stuff. But we do see these Zerglings are going to try running the main, but no, the Roaches do take them out before that happens. You know, in ZVZ, I can't stress enough how much intel you need. Like, you always need to constantly be scouting and getting in that main. That's actually one of my biggest faults. I play blind a lot, and I lose so many games because of playing blind, where I don't scout my opponent enough and see what he's actually doing.
Yeah, and it can be tough to scout your opponent, but we did see that Vibe was able to get in there and saw the drone count and was really saying, okay, how much larva is actually being produced towards your economy, and how much is it going towards your army? And we do see that Roaches are moving out all the way, and this, I don't know if Vibe reads this as full-on aggression or fake aggression, excuse me, and he will see that it's coming. It's just a small group of Roaches. Will they be able to do any damage? I'm not sure. There are a lot of Roaches out at the time, or excuse me, no, that is for Sheth. I don't know. Vibe just has a small group of Roaches. I don't know if he wants to engage right now.
Yeah, I think it's more just forcing his opponent to not make drones. He knows that he did get that third base up, so the way to counter that is not letting him use that larva to build drones instead of what he wanted. He would want to build, 10 drones and put it on that new base, so he'd be running 3 base. But with him sending those Roaches out, faking pressure, it forced him to make those Roaches or make those extra lings.
Gotcha. And let's go ahead and look at the units tab. 17 Roaches to 9 in favor of Sheth. Sheth looks like he wants to do that pressure right now. The aggression is starting up. And will Vibe be ready for this? It looks like Leo Reconstitution coming down for both of these players. +1, though, coming out for Vibe. That's going to help him dramatically. If he can get this +1 out before his opponent can, that's going to make all the difference. I think Vibe is going to be able to hold if that happens. Yeah,
and it does look like he is going to have time, because it looks like Sheth is waiting for speed before he actually decides to be aggressive. So +1 will finish around the time Sheth's speed gets done. So this might be a perfect time. We do see a Contaminate actually going on in one of the hatcheries of Vibe, but here comes the attack. Sheth does have speed, but Vibe has the upgrade advantage.
Yeah, and that's the one that makes a lot more difference. Leo Constitution is good, but look how fast these Roaches die, and it looks like, he's actually burrowing the Roaches that are weakened, and it looks like he might pop out and surround all these units. Yes, he will. There is an Overseer being made right now. Sheth needs to back up, and yes, that's exactly what he's doing. The +1 just doing way too much damage. Awesome, awesome play coming in from Vibe.
Yeah, that was really good timing for Vibe, getting that +1 right before his opponent hit. And right now, it's looking really good for Vibe. He's got a third base running, and especially if he has the gas running, it's going to make all the difference in the world, because that's going to allow him to get more infestors than his opponent. It's going to let him get everything else. I did see that a Hydralistan did go down for Vibe, so maybe he wants to do some Hydra Roach pressure before switching into the infestor stuff.
Well, I would prefer that right now. I mean, he is just huge right now. Let's go ahead and look at the economy. 62 drones to 50. Income tab is showing much, much higher than Sheth, and he will have this timing for a good, 30 seconds to a minute. If he can start yielding at a lot of units, we can already see the supply is going to start increasing a lot stronger and a lot faster for Vibe. We do already see 140 supply to 124 supply. He's producing all these Hydras. I think he will have this timing with the Hydralisk to pop out to really do so much damage against his opponent.
Wow. Sheth actually going for a hive already.
Wow. What is he doing? What is he up to?
Maybe he wants that +3 attack? Like, I can't imagine.
He doesn't even have +1 yet.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't even have plus yet. This is really, really weird coming out of Sheth. And look at this. He's actually taking expansion as well. Playing this super, super risky. I guess he's really relying on his infestors to come out right now. 4 infestors on the way. But you know what? If Vibe hits before that, that's going to be very devastating. I don't know if he's going to be able to stop that. He might do a +2 timing right now.
Yeah, I'm really liking these Hydras, denying all the map control that these Overlords gave Sheth right here. So that's really good. And that's going to also not only kill some of his Overlords and stop him from having map vision, but also set him in the red.
Yes, and we can see that he's almost supply cap. 182 supply to 141. Huge advantage for Vibe right now. The +2 isn't just finished yet. Just about 1 minute more. These infestors do have enough for a single fungal growth. They could have fungled very, very easily if he so choose to. But here we go. This is going to be the big battle that's going to be coming in right now. Here we go. Zerglings are going to go first. The Hydras are going to get in range finally. There's the big fungal growth that goes off. Are these Hydras going to be enough DPS to take out all these roaches? I'm not sure just yet. The Hydras look like they're doing just way too much damage. Fungal growth not being enough. They just cannot kill the roaches in time. And look at that. The Hydras are just doing all the work. Now burrows, but there is an Overseer somewhere around here. I do believe, yes, there it is. And Sheth needs a backup. This is a terrible, terrible position for him. And it looks like additional roaches. Holy crap, 22 roaches on the way. Now going for that Destructive Rocks in the back. He's going to go for that third base. And this, I don't know. What can Sheth do right now, Jake?
Not too much, it doesn't look like. He's going to need some miracle fungal growths to hold this right here. That's an okay fungal growth, but it's just there's so many units here for Vibe. Infested Terrans hitting the field, and this could be good. If he had one more fungal, that would be great. But so many more roaches are coming to reinforce, and Vibe's doing the correct thing right here. He threw out all of his energy for his infestors, and now he's just running away so that the infestors are not even being part of the fight.
And a huge concave right there, and was able to catch a lot of those units off guard. There's only one fungal growth in there of all of those infestors. Looks like he wants to go and attack right now. Not a good position. He's going to kill that one infestor that had only energy, and it looks like more units are streaming in. GG comes out from Sheth, and Vibe is going to take game number 1. A very, very interesting play coming out from Sheth. I wasn't expecting that at all. Can you please explain that to me a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it really just came down to, from the beginning, he forced Sheth to make more units than he needed to. Also, he stopped mining for drones at the natural expansion for a long time.
Yeah.
So he just took those little advantages, and Vibe just transformed him to his gain. He made a ton of drones. He didn't have that many units to defend with. Even a lot of the times when Sheth would push across the map to force him to make units, he read it as a fake.
Yes.
He did not overcommit to making a lot of units, and he got that third up faster.
One thing I want to call attention a little bit to is not only that expansion, but the way that he defended that. He actually, a lot of times we see this +1, the really fast +1 for attacking. It almost felt like Vibe was doing a +1 defense, and instead of attacking, he was trying to get his macro up and going, and he was able to hold very, very nicely. Even with the Glee Reconstitution, that's like having Metabolic Boost against the +1 melee attack. Of course, I would take +1 melee attack any day because that represents such a huge bonus in just
if I was playing on the defensive, the +1 would be way better than having a speed upgrade.
Yes,
absolutely.
Indeed. And you saw that just transform into the economic advantage. He hit with a very nice roach timing, and that's all she wrote for Vibe.
And I really liked how he skipped infestors. He knew he had the economic advantage. He skipped infestors, and he decided to go Hydras. And Hydras are great DPS behind roaches because they have the range advantage.
Yeah, we saw that happen, man.
And so it's, infestor or roach Hydra is not that great versus infestor if you can get enough of them. but he hit right as Infestors pretty much came out, so they didn't get that number that he needed to really destroy Vibe's army.
Yes. Yes, and you know what? Ultimately, Sheth was able to be taken down, the giant that he is. So let's go ahead and go into game number 2 and see if Sheth can tie things up or if Vibe can finish it out 2-0. I'm really interested for this series. So after this break.